Gonna give you guys a couple of minutes here to get in. We are live. It's time to go. Here we go. Hey, what up, James? See you, man. All right, it's time to go. Welcome, guys. Today was a tough day for me. As you guys know, I love trading. This is what I do. I really, really enjoy doing that. But what I mean by today was a tough day is the fact that I was not able to trade. All right. Um, It was, I mean, the futures market was open, but as you guys know, during bank holidays, it is extremely slow in the market, so there wasn't much to do. That being said, the market is setting up a move right now based on today and what we're seeing currently overnight. We're gonna get down into the charts. I want to reiterate that to you guys once again. Everything I say on this channel, this is for educational purposes only. Nothing I say is any suggestions for you guys to buy, hold, or sell any cryptocurrency. Just a reminder, trading involves risk, including loss of capital. So do your own due diligence, do your own research, and if you're not sure what you're doing, make sure to contact a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. What I do here is try to explain to you guys what the market is telling me. As I've always mentioned, I do believe the charts is the language of the stock market, and I'm letting you guys know what I am doing. This is what Coach Lord is doing. All right. That being said, we're gonna get into it. You guys know, in on this channel, we got down now that to get all of this out of the way. This is no fluff, no BS, straight up charts. We don't deal with emotions here. We know what the news that's happening out there, but more importantly, what we focused on is what the technical analysis is telling us. If you get it with me, guys, it's time to go. It's time to get rolling. It's time to go. Let's get it. Okay, all right, guys. We are back here. What I want to do today is go over the futures market. Yesterday we already covered the static accounts like the SPX and the SPY and the Qs. So what I want to do is focus more on the overnight market, and the best way to do that is on the futures market. So we can see exactly what is going on. And as of right now, I mean, things may bounce. You know, a lot of things happen. Some things get resolved overnight. So we're not too afraid of what's going on. However, as of right now, what I am looking at, it is not pretty. All right. I'll be honest with you guys, it is not pretty. Because right now, even if let's say I were to go directly to the 5 minutes, you guys can see exactly what is happening within the 5 minutes right now. We are plunging down. All right. So you guys can. This is when pre-market start after hours started right around here. Okay, so we open, yeah, for the day. We bounce right around this level, and this is what this is doing. We are completely tanking right now. This is the 5 minutes. So let me go. Let me just head back out to the daily so you guys can see it. Right now, this is the zone that the bulls need to defend. All right, I'm going to do this as a zone. All right, the bulls needs to defend this zone. That's it. If not, we are going to, we might, if we lose it, you're talking about maybe finding some a bit of support right there. And if we lose that, so we have this little, there's some good support around those levels. But if we lose that, that's when it gets very, very scary, very, very quickly. We're talking about finding some good support all the way down here. All right, there's some minor support all through here that we can get bounces, but this is where would be the bigger support level. All right, here's what I'm looking at. So this is the daily, right? What I just showed you guys right now, that market is open. So this is currently happening. What we are looking at right now. This is happening. So that's today. So that's what we are looking at. The market is already open. You can see there's 19 hours left currently on this sessions of the futures market, and we are going down. We tried to actually bounce, and it got smacked right back down. Why? There's a big block of sellers right up there, right up there. Let me go in the 4 hours and see what we're looking like. This is what we don't want to. I didn't want to see, guys. We did not want to see this move because right here, what did we see right there? So we had this move done, right? So when we did that, I told you guys what I'm looking at is a bear flag, right? And the worst thing that happened with that bear flag, we try to pull, we try to push up. We got rejected, but when we got rejected, it actually came down and made a bearish harami. It made a bearish harami, and then we had a couple of inside candles still inside of the bearish harami. And right now, what do I always say? The market will always choose the path of least resistance. What's the path of least resistance for the market right now? What we're looking at, the path of least resistance would be for the market to just go down. And that's what the market is choosing to do as of right now. Now, again, I will remind you guys the best case scenario we still have is this move. This is still our best case scenario. We get bounced here and then we pushed up. All right. We don't have any potential inverted head and shoulder pattern happening like we had here when we have a steep drop and we have a quick pull back up, which give us an inverted head and shoulder pattern, which help us push up. We don't have that here. Instead, if you really want to look at it, instead, what we are seeing is more of a head and shoulder pattern. This is a clear head and shoulder pattern, and this is being done with a lower right shoulder. Some of the most bearish pattern you can see is a head and shoulder pattern when the shoulder is actually being formed at a lower level. So let's dig in. Let's dig in and see exactly how we are looking and what's going on. Let's take a quick look here in the 2 hours and see what how we doing. This is the 2 hours. I have that pulled up, and right now we are not looking great because first thing I look at just to see where the momentum is going, and what we seems to be doing is this a bit of a push to make a lower high in the MACD, which would give us a bearish divergence. So that is really, really not good, guys. I'm looking at that, and this may spell trouble unless we have some sort of news, some sort of reversal overnight. But as of right now, we are not looking very good. If you are a bull, right? If you're bullish on this market right now, things does not look good. And if you really want to see the head and shoulder pattern even clearer, right? If you want to see that even clearer, this is where you see that right there. Like there's no questioning, there's no guessing. Right here, you can clearly see it right there. Boom, there it is. Actually, in the 30 minutes, it's not even a much lower shoulder in the 30 minutes, right? And I will show you guys why I said that. This is what we're looking at. So if I draw it with this, so let's say this is the shoulders, right? So the shoulders would be like around here. You guys could see this right shoulder actually picked its head all the way above, try to sneak in right there. That's in the lower time frame where you can see that a little better, right? So this is what's happening. Um, So things are a little tough right now, guys. Things are a little tough. All right, things are a little tough. Now the on the other side, if we are going to actually push and for this market to recover, what we're going to need is for the market to actually come, it would need to really push up. That would be a nice move up, and it's going to have to deal with this downward trend line. How do I do that trend line? Is this high with the most connect that with the most recent high. And if you're not familiar with trend line is dynamic support levels. You know how those would be static support or horizontal static support. These are dynamic, meaning it's not static, it continue to move. So while say the stock come here, you find resistance there. You went when it goes down, it try to go up, meaning it's going to find a resistance at a lower level. Again, it's going to try. Sometimes it doesn't even get all the way there. It might just stay below. But this is where it would need to cross. Then it might go here again. It will need to find it once again. All right. So this is what I am looking at. These are the things I'm trying to look at. I really try, guys. I really try to see if I can find some silver lining in all these things. And right now, the best the best I can do for those of you guys who are bold, the best I can do is to give you this bit of trend line, which would still be all the way down to this level. Maybe a bounce right here. But guess what? This is the beauty about dynamic trend line, right? Let's say I did not have this support level already drawn out, right? You guys can see the right there. We have some support here, and you can see that was with former resistance high and things like that. But guess what? This already gives me that actual support. All right, and you guys can see how it would go through those supports, and you can see how things are bouncing off of it. Um, Now that's the real issue that we have. We don't have real support close by. Actually, we're right at the support level, so we either bounce right at this level, and if we don't, we're going to have a long day. I mean, let's say a long week, might even be a long couple of weeks. Let me just take a quick look at the weekly. Let's that way we take a step back and see exactly what we are looking at. And a reminder again, this is the S&P 500 futures. All right, this is the weekly candle. Take a look at that. See all up here. I was warning you guys. Let me try to clean up the chart a little bit so everything could show up clearer for everyone. Right. So this is where I was giving you guys all these warnings right up there, right up there. I was giving all these warnings, and look what happened: rejection, 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 rejection. This is how you know institutions are blocking an area. These are those massive orders that's taking things down. That's how you know. And I have a question here. Are you still optimistic in this market? If yes, why? Is it because of your POP? Am I still optimistic on the market? No. Long term, yes. But remember, since before the year started, I told you guys I do believe we had a correction coming. I don't think we. So far, I'm not calling a crash, but I'm predicting a correction. So like a 10 to 20% drop. That would not surprise me at all. First of all, historically, this is something that typically happens during midterm elections. That is normal. And we just had such a great bold one anyway. We right at the top of the channel, so any bit of a drop is not something that's going to surprise me. And the market really has given us signals for quite some time. Now, somebody may say we did not take those signals. That's your prerogative. But the market has really been telling us, like, hey, you know what, guys? I've given you guys all I had. All right? Like, I've given you guys all I had. And I need to take a break. Sometimes you just have to understand, like, hey, I know I want the market to keep going up, but right now it doesn't seem like this is the most probable path for the market to take, right? And again, why am I not going to really believe the market is about to win right now? We are selling into good news. I mean, not even good news. I mean, I think I mentioned that yesterday. What we had was great news for as far as the data we received. Unfortunately, and I'll be completely open with that, I do not believe those numbers. And the reason why, to me, is just because um, every single number that came out was 1/10 better than expected. Every single, how is that possible for every single thing to be 1/10 better? Beside the actual job numbers, which were, wait for it, exactly twice the amount, 100%. Like to me, that's a little funky. I feel like there's some funkiness going on. And then what really solidifies that for me, you can really see Wall Street did not buy it because if they actually believe those numbers, we would be ripping right now because all the numbers that came out really put things that says, hey, the Fed is about to cut interest rate and the market is supposed to be ripping. But I think there are certain numbers that comes from the public sector. Wall Street is waiting on because they just did not buy the numbers. And if you actually look at watch CNBC, whenever they have those panels where they have a few people with opposing views, and you can clearly tell, even though the guys who are very pro this administration could not really explain why all the numbers was 1/10 better, right? So this is what I'm why I'm not as optimistic. Remember when I was telling you guys I was cautiously optimistic. This is why I'm not cautiously optimistic anymore. I would tweak that to say I'm cautious. All right. Cautiously optimistic. When I say that for the market, that means I think we're still going to rip. I think we're still going to go up. Right now, this is what I am currently looking at. All right. Now, can we hold here? That would be great. If we can hold here, can we do it? I don't know. Now, let's take a good look at our good friend Bitcoin. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. And Bitcoin is doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let me see. That's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. That's a little bit more than 2 weeks. As far as trading sessions, that Bitcoin has just been sitting here, literally doing nothing, bouncing between 65 and 71. That's it. To be quite honest, I thought Bitcoin was going to rip, even in the short term, to give a nice bit of a push. And right now, I'm just not seeing it. And the longer that move takes, the more grim things get. As I've told you guys already, those guys, big money has taken over Bitcoin, and I don't think it's for the benefit of Bitcoin holders, because what we are seeing is Bitcoin is being affected by things that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Like why is inflation going up negatively impacting Bitcoin? Bitcoin used to be a safe haven. Like if inflation's going up and things like that are happening, people are going to Bitcoin as a way to preserve their capital, right? So if you look at Bitcoin right now, this is what I'm seeing. Unfortunately, once again, this is what we are building on Bitcoin again. I'm sorry to say, guys, you're not gonna like this. But the pattern is the pattern. The pattern does not care about what I like, what I don't want to say to you guys, or what you guys hope actually happens. All right. This is what we are looking at in Bitcoin. This is it. This is the left shoulder. Let me just extend those just so I can people can see those even better. Let me just extend that there. So this is the left shoulder. You can see that right here. This is the left shoulder. Left shoulder. This is the head right up there, and this is your right shoulder right there. So head, shoulders. Again, that's a bearish move. That's a bearish move. Excuse me. This is what Bitcoin give. It did a little bit of a push. Actually, it did give the push. I thought it would give a much bigger push, but it didn't. When we talked about it, it seems like that little bit when it was doing that little bit of inverted head and shoulder pattern with a higher right shoulder. Again, let me just draw it again. This was the inverted head and shoulder pattern. All it did was go to right there, and it just rejects it. There's no momentum. It just cannot take it. Just cannot take it. That, and to me that is scary because it's like, okay, we at support level and we can't even get a bounce at support level, meaning people just not buying it. People just not buying it. All right. Again, guys. By the way, if you guys are here, once again, I have to keep reminding you guys. If you are here, make sure to smash the like button for me. Ask some questions. Drop me an emoji. Anything, any engagement that you give me in the chat helps me immensely in the algorithm. So I would really, really appreciate that. Any boost you can give me, I would really appreciate that. Share the video, share the live, the channel with some other people that can benefit from the channel. That would be greatly appreciated as well. But I would be remiss if I did not thank you guys who keep showing up every morning, every night when I'm live to come to support the channel. I really, really appreciate that. But just remember once again to share that video for with anyone that may be able to get some, a different perspective or learn something new on things like that. And if you are watching on replay, I would encourage you to come to the live so you can ask questions if you have questions. Or if not, I do appreciate the views. Just make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Would love to get connected with you guys, as always. Want to take a quick look at ETH. Let me throw on the chart. Let's see what ETH is doing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Instead, what Ether seems like it's doing is more of a double top. And this is strong resistance level. This is a double top. That means more downside is coming. So this seems like, I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with crypto winter. Right? Crypto winter is typically when Bitcoin and cryptos typically lose about 60 to 70% of their value before they make a bull one. So let's take a look at that. You guys could see it. We had a big one on Bitcoin here. Then from that drop was 60%, right? So it went to 4,000. That's when it went to. No, that's Ether. That's Ether. Went to 4,000, dropped 61%. Let me go back on Bitcoin so you guys can see that. Since Bitcoin has a lot more move, right? Boom. Bitcoin completely rallied up. Look at this move. Beautiful, very bullish move. And then this is what followed. It had a pullback of about 55%. All right, 55%. Then it rallies back and make a higher high this time. It makes it made a higher high to 60, 68, right? Previous high was 64, went to 68. Then look at that. This thing went. This thing lost nearly 80% of its value. Nearly 80%. That's like 77.5%. So let's round that up. Lost 80% of its value. All right. So I know when I talk to you guys, I always say, hey, you know what? If you can find quality stocks that's down 20% or 30% and whatever, a lot of times I tell people, hey, this is what when I see that on those stocks, I'm willing to take the chance and do a swing trade and whatever. With Bitcoin right now, from where we are right now, I'm still not touching it. I'm still not. I don't think this is crypto winter yet, right? But guess what? If you are not scared when he dropped there, if you came and bought, look at this move. Now all the way to 107. All right. all the way to 107. Then from 107, we dropped again. We dropped about 30%. We dropped 30% and then made a new high. Now, let's see how much we have dropped. I think this should be more nearly 50% and change. This full drop, 52%. That's the full drop. This is where I really wanna start getting some Bitcoin. Me personally, I really want to start reaccumulating whatever I have. I'm just gonna hold. I had already set stop losses when I saw those. When I started calling all these moves way up there for you guys, I started to unwind some of mine. And what I'm holding long term. So I'm going to DCA in, meaning maybe you buy. I'll buy just a couple hundreds here, a couple hundreds there. Just have different. I'm gonna have different levels, right? I'm gonna have different levels where I can just like average myself in. So, for example, right, this is how you make sure you have a good price on things. You don't know what a bottom is. You have no idea. Let's say hypothetically, when we had that drop to this initial level, all those are buy zone, right? You can get some here. Let's say 72. Then it dropped to 61. You add some more. If it dropped to this level, which would be 50, you able to add some more and whatever. And I think at this point you just hold or you don't keep adding until you see that reverse sentiment change and we start heading up. That's the only way I would add. But no, I'm not gonna keep adding while we just doing this nonstop. All right, I wouldn't do that. But once it get to this zone, if it gets to this zone, I guess you could say the absolute lowest would be like 33, around yeah, around the 30s. You add if it lose these levels, which is really low, but hey, we no none of us thought we would be at 68 right now. All right, none of you already had people calling for 250,000. Some people saying we're going to a million, gajillion, all kinds of stuff. Right? This is what I keep telling you guys. Every single time I see people come on CNBC, this is when I really get scared. Whenever if I'm in a stock and I see people coming on CNBC and start talking up the stock about how great it is and all this kind of stuff, I start getting scared. That's the way it is. I start getting scared because I have seen these guys do some of the most, I would say personally, I would consider unethical because I don't like somebody just showing up and say, hey, this is a great stock to buy and blah blah blah, this and that, and then come back 2 days later and say that you were already in it when you said that, and it whipped up and then you sold. So technically, you just did a pump and dump. That's that's not my thing. So that's what typically scares me a little bit. Then this is why I love technical analysis because the chart can tell me exactly what I'm looking at. I don't need to get reassurance from anyone as far as specific stock. All right. Next thing I wanted to cover for you guys again is the VIX. So the VIX right now is still rallying up, and I think I showed you guys this so you guys could see. If I go on the daily, you guys can see what the VIX is doing. Although it got rejected there, but guess what we did? We also closed above this level. We closed above, and this candle did not close below the 50% retracement, right? So as we dig in a little lower, you're going to see how that actually seems more bullish than bearish to me. If we go into 4 hours, what does that look like, guys? That looks like what? You guys should notice. That looks more like a bull flag. All right, this is what that looks more. That looks a lot more like a bull flag when you go a little deeper. Again, this really shows you that even better. All right, that's looking more like a bull flag, and we had what we did: push up, pull back, second leg is being formed. Now, again, I keep this is the caveat I keep always letting you guys know. This is the highest probability. It does not mean that cannot change. And I just realized I'm not giving you guys this. There you go. This is the highest probability right there. The VIX is the highest probability. All right. See, I'm tricking you guys to make sure that you guys are paying attention. That's why they have the the screen on. Well, anyway, you could see that this is the you had the first leg pull back, and second leg might happen. But the reason, again, I need you guys to understand, things can change. All right, things can change. Narrative change. News catalysts happen and things like that, and that may blow things up and whatever. But what I'm operating on is probabilities, right? We just want to find what exactly has the highest probability. All right. And I'm typically leaning toward trying to find directions on a 70% in my favor, 70% in my favor. Again, which is the saying of the path of least resistance. This is what I am looking for. Again, we already pushed. So right now, this in there is a little tricky because why? We are sitting inside of resistance level and support level. But why do I favor a move to the upside a little bit more? You guys should notice as soon as I say that. You guys should notice, right? The reason I favor that just a little bit more is simple. Is because right now this is sitting at support level, right? So this is sitting at support level. Since it's sitting at support level, the most likely move to happen is a push toward resistance. Now, once it get there, right, just like it did here, here, and here, can it break it? I don't know. But as of right now, this support level is what we might look like we might bounce off of support. All right, that is the highest probability as of right now. Now, once we get up there, it becomes once again 50-50. But right now at support level, the probability is in the favor of the bears. Remember when the VIX go up, you actually have the stock market typically goes down when the VIX is going up. All right. Let's take a look at the Mag 7. That's the Magnificent Seven. These are the kind of things we do not want to see. We don't want to see these things. They are not pretty. And another thing I sort of also discovered, guys, because it was not very clean. It didn't really show as well as it should because it wasn't clean. I'm going to show you guys this, and you guys going to see it. What exactly are we seeing here? This was a head and shoulders pattern, but it's just one of those that's like very very funky, and it's not very clear. It's almost like you must have been really paying attention, really looking for it to see it. But if I just draw it that like that, right? There it is. It's a head and shoulder pattern with a lower with lower. I mean, I didn't call that specific pattern on the daily, but this is what we are looking at. This is what we're dealing with. This is the Mag 7. That's where you get the stocks that are the heaviest in the stock market. These are the heaviest stocks. So when those stocks go down, it's inevitable the market's going to go down. It's inevitable because they weigh so much on the market, right? So much. And as of right now, we are below support. And as you could see, as you guys can see here, we don't really have very good I mean, I guess you can say previous high, that support, that's where we are right now. So if we dip below, we're talking about going down to this level. Now, if you're looking at the Mag 7, you might say, you know what, Lord, I mean, a move like that is not crazy. That's not a really big move. If things drop, like right there, that's not a really big move. I would say that I agree. For the Mag 7, it's not a big move. But guess what? For those individual stocks, these are probably like 8. 9, 10, 20 points move. That's the difference. That is the difference. While this is not something that goes up a lot, and as you guys could see, if you go all the way down to the tariff lows, which was 39, that was 39. All-time high was just an extra 30 points. So meaning 3 points is actually a pretty big move. All right. Let's take a look at the Qs and see exactly how we're looking in the Qs. Oh, actually, I covered the Qs yesterday, guys. I'm not going to go over the Qs today because we already covered the Qs. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go meet those guys right now. In the chat. James, I see you, man. I see you. Say, I'm glad I got rid of all my BTC. Man, I'm happy for you too, man. I mean, if anybody follow the channel, when I do those reviews and tell them, hey, this is what I'm seeing currently in the charts for Bitcoin and Ether. I mean, all these things were already drawn on those charts. I had all those things drawn up and letting everybody know, almost like calling a play-by-play with everybody, letting them know, hey, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing. I was showing these things since way up there when I call this head and shoulder pattern way up there. So that say, hey, we have a head and shoulder pattern. Then we started, right there. I'm like, hey, if we can't take that, this is where we're going to go. And you guys could see that's exactly that what's happening. Anyway, guys, I have to go meet some of those guys on Teams. For anyone that's part of the community, I will be on Teams shortly. As soon as I turn off this live, I will be on Teams. So if you have any questions, you have any questions, anything, be there to ask questions. You guys know how it is. There's a couple of stocks I want to go over with you guys as well. For everybody else, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. Just do me a favor. If you are here, just remember to smash the like button for me because that does help a lot in the algorithm. That's all I'm asking you guys for. All right, just smash the like button for me. I would really appreciate that and share the video. Join the community. If you're not part of the community link is if you're watching this on replay, the link is always in the description. Click on the description and join the community. Anyway, that being said, wish you guys the best of luck. Tomorrow, I would say the same thing. It's POP. Follow the process. Stick to your trading plan. Be patient. Be a sniper, man. I need you guys to be snipers. The way the market is moving, if you get caught on the wrong side of a trade and you don't have a tight stop loss, you go into suffer. So be a sniper. Find your levels, get in, get green, protect profit, and get out. As of right now, until further notice, I've been saying that until further notice, we are on defensive mode. It's about preserving capital. All right. It is at this point. I feel like it's better to not take any trade and not lose any money instead of not protecting your capital. All right, because right now the market is very very tricky. So you right now just look at it this way: you playing defense. All right, you playing defense. So anytime you can score a couple of points, just take a look at that as a bonus. All right. Thanks, guys. I gotta go. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys again tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's when the live happen. I might start changing that a little bit to 8:30, guys. I might start doing that just a little bit earlier, to 8:30 or to 8 p.m. You guys can let me know what you guys think about go switching the live to 8 p.m. or 8:30 if that would still work fit with everyone's schedule. All right, guys, peace out. Now I really have to go. Take care.